I'd like to welcome Chere Pepper to the show this morning. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How you doing?
Okay. At the age of 5, you started singing and playing the guitar, and I listened to Loretta Lynn on the radio. Who taught you how to play the guitar and study music?
Well, actually, I had one guitar lesson when I was 5, when I went to Brownie Girl Scouts, and they gave me this little chord chart. There's this teenage, Girl Scout teaching us, and so I took the chord chart home, and not only did I learn the D chord, which is what they taught the first lesson, but I kind of just learned all the chords, and I went back the next week and just started playing all these chords, and of course I couldn't switch super fast, between them. And she's like, I can't teach you anything else. And so I just kind of, on my own, went home, and I was really discouraged because I'm like, I want to learn how to play guitar, but she can't teach me anything else because her teaching was limited. And so I I listened to Loretta Lynn and Dolly Parton and, all those on the radio. And so I just started listening to their songs. And I didn't realize it at the time, but I was studying chord progressions, how songs were written, all the basic structures, as well as, how to put the whole song together. And so I would just kind of play by ear and play along. And, that's kind of how I learned how to write a song.
Okay.
And by the time I was 8, my parents went to the Red Door, which was this bar. It's now called the Diamondback here in Belleville, Michigan, which is a really big club. But back then it was called the Red Door. And Loretta Lynn's cousin, Paul Webb and the Young Country, they were the band that played there. So my parents used to go there all the time and dance. And so they got me up on stage there several times within, a couple-year period. And I'd play with him. And, I'd play a lot of these Loretta Lynn songs and just get up there with my guitar and jump into the band. And so, that was kind of my experience when I was under 10 with music.
Okay. On your early 20s, you started the contemporary
right.
Christian. What changed in your life to switch over from country to contemporary?
Well, and I don't really, it's like, when you're raised country and raised on country music, and my dad's side is all from the South, it's in your blood. So all through my teenage years, when I was 12, I fronted a band with my brother, and we did all the moose lodges and all that sort of thing. So I played with bands throughout my teenage years. It was always country. And a lot of cover tunes, the standard bar stuff. But then in my early 20s, of course, got married, had a kid, and that's when God becomes more important a lot of times in people's lives. And so, going to church and listening to the contemporary music, and I kind of joined a church band, and that's what they did, the more contemporary stuff. And being a writer, I can write country, I can write pop, I can write rock, I can write all different kinds of styles. And up here in Michigan, when it comes to Christian music, you can't be too Southern gospel because there's just not a lot of demand for that, and that's basically what I do every Sunday. I'm in a church. And so it became much more contemporary. So in my early 20s, I gave my heart to the Lord for answering your question. It was like, that was the moment that I realized that God had given me this gift. And the gift was not to just play in the bars, but it was really to try to touch people's lives. And within, by 2003, I had 3 solo albums out, contemporary Christian. 1999, 2002, 2003, I think. So that's how that switch happened.
Okay. You got 7 contemporary Christian albums and 2 country pop Nashville recordings.
No, actually, I have 5. 5 contemporary Christian albums. And the 4th one, Armor of God, was up for the Grammy nomination for Album of the Year. And then there's a song on there that was up for Song of the Year, my Jesus, Jesus song. But yeah, I got 5. And then after the 5th one, that's when God spoke to me and said, it's time to step out into the non-Christian world. Okay. And so then that's when I wrote my self-titled CD, and then my most recent, which was just released, is Jesus and My Gun. That one was that one was recorded in Nashville, and I got Chere Pepper's lead player on all the tracks. It's an amazing CD. So yeah, I've kind of been thrust into the country non-Christian scene, and so being a solo artist, I don't know anybody. I don't play with a band. I don't play the clubs. So I've got my webpage and my Facebook going, and so that's kind of how a lot of new jobs I've been getting is basically people hear me on the internet and want me to come do a private party, or I've done weddings, I've done funerals. It's kind of just really opened doors to a lot of different places I can play now. So.
Okay. What inspired you to do the albums?
Oh boy, Loretta Lynn is my idol, and so Loretta, if you're watching, I need you to contact me. I was just at Loretta Lynn's ranch, met the ranch manager, and played a little bit there. She was supposed to be in concert September 3rd, but she had fell just 2 days before the concert. But going there was just one big God thing. But what inspired that album is I had seen Loretta Lynn on an interview with Dan Rather here about a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I'm a prolific songwriter, which I've learned back and forth to Nashville and meeting people. I've learned that I just don't write the way most writers write. I mean, most people collaborate, and that would be great. I would really love to learn how to do that. But when I write a song, I sit down with my guitar, and it's just prolific. I have no idea what I'm going to write about. My fingers just start playing, and within 1 hour, a complete finished song comes out. So it's not like I really have time to say, hey, what do you think about this chorus? Or what do you think about this lyric? And they just come out. So anyway, Jesus and My Gun. And of course, we know what's going on in this country. Yeah. So, this song is, the video just got 600 more hits just in the last 2 weeks. I have no idea what's going on with the song, but here's what inspired the Jesus and My Gun album. I'm watching Loretta Lynn on an interview with Dan Rather, and she's 84 years old now. And I write songs just like Loretta Lynn. I guess I learned how to write this way by listening to her music. And I'm watching this, and I'm thinking, how would Loretta Lynn write a song? And I would really like her to hear the song, because it's my opinion, just my opinion, of how she would write a song about the condition of our country, about our rights and our freedoms. So this song is not about guns, and it's not about Jesus. It's a song about our rights and freedoms as American citizens. And Loretta Lynn is very opinionated. She had Fifth City and The Pill and, all these songs. So after I watched that interview, I sat down and I just said, wow, how would Loretta Lynn write a song? And Jesus and My Gun came out in about 5 minutes. And after I wrote this song, the minute I was done writing it, God spoke to me and he said, that's the song. And I just went, oh, dear Lord, what am I going to do with this? And it's funny because over the last year, I have been sharing that song all across this great country. I have pastors that are calling me from, Oklahoma and Texas, and I went on tour to Steamboat Springs to a rodeo, and in Florida and North Carolina, because they want me to come sing that song. And I find that very strange because it's not a Christian song, but it really shows where the heart of America really is. So I hope something happens with that song and I can get it out there a little bit more. But that one and Cowboy Boots are the two songs that people tend to like the most. And I don't know what's going to happen with that album, but it's out there now, and I haven't really been doing any kind of marketing. I had my ministry now for 20 years, and it's just me. I've got, a media guy, and I've got a web page guy, and that's it. I'm not with a label. My producer here in Michigan, we're in the Detroit scene up here, so it's a little more rock and contemporary, which, I like. But he believes in me, and he knows these songs. And he's been in music for, 40 years, and he's worked with the best of them. And I just thank God for him every day that he believes in me, and he believes in these songs. And so I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen, because I know something's going to happen.
Your Cowboy Boots, it's a story about your life.
Right.
It's got your husband, JD, in it.
Right.
And what's the story behind it?
Well, I met my husband when I was 11. He was 12. We met on horses. And he's a Southern boy. His family's from Missouri, Bell City, Missouri. And, yeah, that was written, that song was first recorded on my self-titled CD, which is really more country rock. There's a few songs that are country pop, country rock, and a few like straight up rock tunes. The very last song on that album I wrote was Cowboy Boots, which is really country. So when God told me to put it on that album, I'm like, okay. And so I recorded it. I call it my rock version. So it's on that song. I re-recorded it Nashville style and put it on the Jesus and My Gun album. So when I started, thinking about doing this, I had to make a video. And so we went down to my video guy's house in Portland, Tennessee, and so we're trying to come up with ideas for the video. And, it is the story of my life. Jesse James and the younger brothers, apparently the younger brothers are like my fourth cousin or whatever, and there's all these stories, passed down through the years, and I'm quarter Cherokee, and, even though I got blonde hair, but, you know how that goes. But anyway, it's like God sat down and said, here's what people want to hear. People want to hear about real stories. And that's what country music's all about. And so I sat down at Cowboy Boots. I think I wrote that in a matter of 10 minutes as well. And so when I wanted to make the video, I really wanted it to be, I wanted to put my husband in it, because we have a farrier business here in Michigan, which for those of you that don't know what a farrier is, it's the last free trade business in the United States of America. And he's a certified horseshoer, basically. So I hold the horses, and he trims them and shoes them, and so I wanted to put him in there, and I wanted to put the truck, and he's just a good old boy, and we're always cutting wood, and so yeah, the video turned out great, and I think that he made the video. Honestly, he just that's his personality. People that know him, I'm still getting messages like, "Oh my God, Chere!" It's just JD, or Pepper, they call him Pepper. He made that video, so I want to put him in my next video, Drive. We're working on a new album, and that song Drive is already playing overseas, and it's about my red Mustang. So I want to put him somehow in this video. So yeah, that's the story of Cowboy Boots, the story of my life, and that seems to be the song that everybody, whether I can do that in a Christian market, I can do that, in a secular market, that just seems to be a song that really speaks to people, and it's because it's about country music. That's where our roots are, in storytelling, and I really would like to see country music get back to that more, the story of the song. Not that I don't like the new stuff that's out there, but anyway, that's my favorite song. Anyway, I say that's the story of my life.
Well, thanks for being on the show today and for doing the interview.
Well, thank you. Thanks so much for having me. God bless you.
Maybe we can do some more in the future if you want.
I'm available. And thank you, everybody, for supporting me. God bless y'all.